Engine 1 from Car 1. Car 1's on scene. Assuming command. Give me a C.A.N report.
What's going on, everybody? This is Mike Goldstein. Stickers to the C.A.N report. Mazel tov, everybody. I'm with Justin Champion from the land of enchantment, New Mexico, in the house, Albuquerque. I'm very excited to have Justin on here. Justin is the owner of From the Ashes, LLC. He is a wealth of knowledge, and he is very passionate about mental health and the fire service. I'm excited to have him on today. Justin, thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me, brother. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. It sounds like we got some background noise. You have your window open or AC blasting?
No, I got the AC on, but it's not blasting. I think we should be good now. I'll turn the AC down a bit.
Okay.
It's hot out here in New Mexico, man.
I was just going to say, I know you're in your car in New Mexico, and I don't want you to die for me. So I don't want you baking in the car. That's so much better. Thank you, Justin. So Justin, we're gonna dive right into your bio real quick so that everyone knows who you are, what you got going on. So Justin Champion is a combat vet. He's a career firefighter, author, and mental health advocate who spent nearly 2 decades in uniform on the front lines of war, firegrounds, and personal battles. Known for his no-fluff approach to leadership, training, and life, Justin is a published author, contributed to magazines such as Fire Rescue One and Firefighter Nation, including his book, The No BS Fire Training Guide. He's the founder of From the Ashes 505, a movement built to challenge the culture in the fire service, fight the stigma around mental health, and build stronger, mission-driven firefighters. Whether you're speaking to rookies or officers, Justin brings raw honesty, grit, and a relentless call to lead from the front. My man, Justin, thank you so much. This is fantastic. So, dude, we were talking earlier. You came from the military. You're a military brat. Then you served yourself from, I think it was a 97 to 2006 in the Army.
Yeah, yep, I did. Yeah,
Wow.
almost 10 full years. Came back to Iraq the second time. Found out my wife at the time, my ex-wife now, was pregnant with my 18-year-old. And they were sending us to go back in 6 months. And I was like, no, I think I'm good, man. And kind of went from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And then I'm reading the bio here. You served deploying twice to Iraq and to Bosnia in support of NATO operations. What is the big difference? Because there's obviously people that are, I'm hoping they're younger, that are listening and watching this, that they don't know a lot about that. So what was the whole thing with Bosnia?
Yeah. By the time I got to Bosnia in 2002, the difference between Bosnia and Iraq is Bosnia is more of a peacekeeping mission. For those that don't know the background of what happened in Bosnia, they had the Bosnian Serb War there, where the Serbians were in basically committing genocide against the citizens of Bosnia. So we went in there in the late 90s and kind of stabilized the region. By the time I got there, we were just in support of, peacekeeping mission. So it was more of, and I worked for a general out there on his communications team. So we kind of just, went around the country making sure everything was, how it should be. And then you get on the flip side of going to Iraq, you switch that switch in your mind from, okay, now we're not here to keep the peace. We're here to take the fight to the enemy. Right. So, I went to Iraq the first time, right when I got back from Bosnia. So I got back from Bosnia and my unit was ramping up because I went to Bosnia as an individual. They asked for a volunteer. I said, okay. Didn't even know what it was for. I went to a team that was made up of people from all different branches of the military, right, to work for this general. So I went there, met other Army guys. In my shop, I had Marines, Army, Navy, right? We were all together. And then I came back and we were on orders because that's when all the stuff happened to go to Iraq. And it was late 2022 and they were like, hey man, we're getting ready to hit Iraq. You can have 6 months stabilization if you want it, right? You don't have to go. Being who I am, I was like, bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, let's roll. So then we rolled out to Kuwait, waited quite a few months in Kuwait for them to give us the green light. And then 2003, we marched across the border.
Wow. And then you were done with military. And did you just dive right into the fire service right after?
I did. Yeah. I knew what I wanted to do. A couple of the places I was stationed, stuff had volunteer fire departments. I went down there and did some time. It's hard to stay with one volunteer fire department when you're moving around, but every place I went, I tried to be involved, right? And I knew it's what I wanted to do. So when I got out, I went to fire academy, EMT, all that, and just kind of jumped right into it.
Yeah, you hit the ground running. And just now, did you have any family or anybody who was in it before that kind of gave you that drive or understanding what you wanted to do?
No, not at all. I'm the first one in the family to do any kind of emergency response. But I had a buddy that was a firefighter, and he said, come right along with us when I got home, right? And yeah, from day one, like,
Day one, yeah.
I hung around the firehouse, helped them wash rigs, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just trying to earn my keep, and um, yeah, that's when I was like, yeah, this is it. So we went
So
from there.
you started as a volunteer, getting your way around. So then you went career.
I did. I had a very small time as a volunteer when I got out. While I was going through like the academy and all that stuff. But then I got on full time, and yeah, then just kept going from there.
And so you rise through the ranks and you made up to a deputy chief position, and then now you're the training coordinator for the New Mexico Fire Academy.
Right. There's 6 of us that are training coordinators. We have 6 regions. Um, I'm the training coordinator and instructor for the Bernalillo County, Valencia County, Torrance County, and Socorro County. So we kind of break it up, but we all work together. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I do. And then part time, I'm a training captain out at Santa Fe County Fire.
Oh, very nice.
Helping
Santa
them.
Fe is beautiful. That is fantastic, man. You are a busy guy. So you just found the passion for the fire service and you hit the ground running, and then you just, from reading your bio and see what you got going on, you're really like hardcore into it. And I read a lot, the keywords I keep seeing is no fluff and no BS. So what makes you so no BS driven?
Is kind of bringing it over from the military, man. Like we train how we fight, and I really try to bring that to the fire service, and I learned that from some guys that are a little bit younger than me, but um are real good guys. Like shout out to he's a training chief down in Georgia at Fuller Fire Rescue, Chief Ian Schulte. Him and I, hit it off real well. We worked together
I
up in
love Ian.
Yeah, Ian's the man. I worked with him. I was a lieutenant under him when he was a captain in North Dakota. Just by chance, we ended up at the same department for a while, and great dude. And he brought that kind of go get it, and I was like, man, this is the dude, right? So I kind of like want to learn from him, and because we had the same mindset. So but getting back to your question, I brought that over from the military, and of course, it's come with some pushback. I'm not gonna lie to you. Anybody that's like that is going to, because I don't. I'm not a PowerPoint guru. Like, I want to get out there and put my hands on stuff. And when at the end of the day, we're a blue collar job, right? And we have blue collar tasks. I don't care what papers hanging on your wall or what papers in your little I Love Me book, right? That's not gonna put out a fire. Getting rid of all the BS and the fluff and the NFPA, you should or shouldn't do this, isn't gonna do anything. You got to get out there and put boots on the ground and get after it. Like, you just have to, if you want to be an effective firefighter, in my opinion. So that's kind of where it comes from for me, because that's how we approached everything in the military. Like, there was no BS. We're gonna get out there. We're gonna train in the heat, in the cold, in the wet. It didn't matter. So
Yeah.
It's 100 degrees outside. That doesn't mean we can't get in gear and go train. We can be smart about it, hydrate, do all that, but you're going to fight fire in the elements. Why not train in the elements? So that's kind of my background on that, and why I brought that, and why I feel like that's the only way to do things.
Now, what does blue collar mean to you in the fire service?
Blue collar means to me, like, you can't be afraid to get your hands dirty. It doesn't matter if you're wearing a white helmet, black helmet, green, blue, orange. It doesn't matter, right? Um, we do an inherently dangerous job, and it's dirty sometimes. Um, you got to be willing to get out there and put it all on the line. So, like every other blue collar job, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter what it is. You got to be willing to get your hands dirty.
And I see that you have your I think you have your EFO, correct?
My CTO, my chief training
CTO.
officer. Yep.
So that's an impressive feat in itself. But I love the fact that you even said, like, you don't need a lot of alphabets behind your name. to show that you're driven in the fire service and that you don't need to sit on top of that and say, look, I have these little initials behind my name, so respect me. You do it through your actual training, and you do it through actions. Was having your CTO, was that something that you wanted to have as a goal, or was it something that was required for your job?
But it was just a personal goal. Like I said, another shout out to Ian Schulte. I saw him do it, and I'm like, you know what, man, maybe I should do it. I actually reached out to him, and he wrote a letter, for me for the packet and all that. And um, I felt like when I did that, I was at a spot in my career where I could get behind it, and I could,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I felt like I was bringing enough to the fire service to be able to do that, because I'm not a paper chaser. I'm not, but I felt like, it meant something to me, so I was going to try it. It was a goal. It was an accomplishment, but by no means does it define who I am as a firefighter. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a goal. It's another thing that I went after and I made happen with a lot of support from my family, from guys like Ian and stuff like that. And it was just a personal goal that I set for myself along the way and went after it.
That's great, dude. I love it. I mean, I think it's important that you're doing all of it. You know that education's important, and you're setting your goals to make yourself professional, but you're also doing boots on the ground training and still delivering that good, solid, hands-on content. You got the best of both worlds going on, especially when you got people like Ian Schulte, who's just he's setting that standard, he's setting that bar. Like, you can still be rough, gruff, and tough, and you can still be educated at the same time. Like, we can still do that.
Oh, 100%. And I'm sure he'll tell you the same thing. Like, uh, education is important. Yeah, I mean, if you want to be a well-rounded firefighter, I think education is huge. Um, Go out, get those degrees. I mean, you can never learn enough, right? And
Hmm.
yeah, that has its place too. But nothing. I don't think anything really replaces being that go getter, getting out there with the guys and training. I mean, and it's great to have those degrees and those letters behind your name and all that, right? Because that just shows that, hey, I'm going out there and I'm trying to better myself. I'm trying to um, educate myself to every level. So I think it's important for everybody.
Absolutely. And I think of it too as we start getting older, right? Like, um, when we retire, we need something to fall back on. And yeah, we can, boast and brag that we're blue collar and we live that life. And, we're proud to be blue collar and proud to have lived the fire service life. And we worked hard for our pension, but we still need to work afterwards. And I still feel that if you're working towards those goals and you have yourself a good, solid education, you can now use that in your retirement and be marketable
Well,
and
yeah,
be able, right. And you can whether you want an office job or you want a teaching job, but you need to show that you can use your brain as well as your brawn.
well, yeah. I mean, 100%. I wouldn't be in the spot I'm in now here in New Mexico if I didn't have that formal education. Because I mean, yeah, it's great. They love that I get out there and I do these things, but you have to have that formal education too, like you said, to back that up, right? Because like for us, you had to have a degree, a certain amount of years, the fire service and certifications, right? So I knew that I was going to need that stuff when I got out. So, um, I 100% agree. Like, you've got to set yourself up for success when you step away. If you want to still be a part of it. So,
Yeah, man.
yeah, I think
So
I think that's what set me up.
I love it, and I love it because you again you're teaching people, you're in the position of teaching people and molding minds, and that you're bringing that up of education is important. You still need it. Yeah, we need to know how to do our hands-on skills, but we got to use this upstairs, and that's important that we bring both of those to our students so they understand, like, it's not just about getting dirty, but you also need to be able to understand the importance of education. I love it, dude.
No, 100%.
So you started now the From the Ashes LLC. What is that?
It actually it came from, I was just sitting around. I've been writing stuff for years and stuff, and my wife currently was like, why don't because I've been looking at becoming a member of different training pro stuff and all that, but um really she's like, why don't you just start something on your own and get your ideas out there. I was like, you know what, you're right. So that's where the idea from the ashes came from, and the name and the idea behind it was, I've been through a lot of trauma myself, been through divorces. a lot of it brought on by my personal um fallbacks and my personal failures. And I decided, hey, I want to get out there and I want to help guys not go through some of the same thing I did. That's why one of our big focuses in From the Ashes is mental health, because I struggled with that myself out of the army and in the fire service. So I decided to do something about it. Instead of just talking about it, I decided to be about it. And it put my story out there. I'm currently writing a book about my whole story. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because I want guys to know that it's okay, not to be okay all the time, and we got to support each other. And I felt like the only way to do that was to get out there and make myself vulnerable, um, and not always be looked at as that hard nosed guy that's gonna, you know what I mean, that there is a different part to us, and make guys feel comfortable in the same way that now I feel comfortable, and not have to hide that. So that's where From the Ashes came from. And we don't offer just mental health. We do, your normal fire training stuff, but our big focus is the mental health portion of it.
So when you say your big focus is on the mental health part of it for your company and your training, what are you doing for that training to promote the mental health awareness? Are you doing classrooms, or are you're in the drill yard doing stuff, but also focusing on the mental health?
Yeah, we do a lot of drill yard stuff, but like I have a lecture series on uh leadership, and getting ready to do a lecture down at Cup of Cozy here in New Mexico. It's a firefighter owned coffee shop. They do a lot of concerts, stuff like that. So I'm getting ready to do that. I've put in to teach this class at FDIC. I haven't got the approval or disapproval yet. Fingers crossed. But it's a lecture series on. It's kind of like a it's not so much a class like because there's a lot of mental health classes out there, right?
Yeah.
There is. It's more of a focus on, hey man, here I've been there, I've been through it, and here's what I see to be better as firemen, and help you get through it. So it's about an hour and a half lecture, depending on, because I'm big on participation. So guys are talking, I'm talking back. Like, of course, I hit all my points and stuff like that, but um, yeah, getting out there and getting that lecture out there and being able to have that communication with other guys that might be going through the same thing, or are trying to prevent themselves from going through the same thing. Um, that's that's where my company comes in, and we get out there, and I go out there, and I just lay it all out there, kind of like the no BS kind of thing, like I'm talking about. Like, here's what happened. Um, I'm not pointing fingers at other people. It's me, and here's how I dealt with it. Sometimes it was right, sometimes it was wrong, but here's how you can navigate in the future.
So did you take any classes or education to be able to really focus on the mental health part of it?
Oh, yeah, I've been through all the, like, some of the formal classes, like, peer supporter, all that stuff. Well, what really did it for me was getting out there and, getting in, therapy myself, and learning from that experience, and putting it out. And now I'm putting it out there to show guys, like, kinda like a roadmap, like, here's what's
Hmm.
available, because I didn't even know at the time. But I have taken the classes, like, the IAFF peer support and all that stuff. So, um, I know both sides of the ball, so, uh just trying to get my experience out there, and trying to help some guys.
How did you know when it was time to seek help?
I knew for a long time, but I ignored it, right? And when I knew I really needed the help is when I went through my divorce, and my ex-wife just said, "Hey, I've had enough. You're kind of a dick." And she was right, you know. Uh, and I lost contact with my kids for a couple years, and my daughter reached out to me, who's 18 now. She was 16 at the time, I believe, and she was like, "Look, Dad, here's what I need from you. If you want me in your life, if you want my sister, my brothers, all that, you want us in your life, here's what I need from you." And I realized, man, I'm jacked up. I need help, right? So that's when I really realized it, when I'm sitting there alone in a one bedroom apartment. Um, and I just realized, hey man, it's time to, put the bottle down and get the help you need and get back on the right track, because it was almost like living two lives, man. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, I'm this guy at the firehouse, and then my life's falling apart. So I that's when it just hit me. I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I didn't go through any programs. I didn't go through any of that kind of stuff that I'm gonna talk to guys about, that's available to them. I just said, hey, I'm done. I put the bottle down, went out and found the help I needed, and then um got my stuff together. Now my girls live with me. You know what I mean?
that's
By
great.
their own choice. So
Yeah.
I just realized it was time for me to do the things I needed to do, and I went out and did it.
So I don't know how deep you want to get, but so it sounds like you had a drinking problem.
Oh yeah,
You said you
huge.
put the bottle down. And what was it that drove you to that point? Was it childhood trauma? Was it the military? Obviously, maybe the combo of both. If you had those, what was it?
Best answer is yes.
Okay.
Yes to all the above, bro. Um, yeah, like growing up wasn't easy. Had a dad that had been to war a couple times, and back then, nobody knew what PTS was or any of that stuff, right? So it was rough growing up. Had some abusive times when I was a kid, and then joined the army, and of course, the stuff that comes from going to Iraq and stuff, and it was just a mixture of everything. And I was always taught, hey, suck it up, right? Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. You're a guy, you're a man. Suck it up, and that's what I did. And the best way I can describe it is you can only fit so much in a cup, and my cup overfilled, right? And it bled out on the people that I cared about the most, and that's on me. So yeah, so it's just I think it's a combination of all the things that I, one as a kid went through, and the the paths that I went down, um, as an adult, like with the military and the fire service, and nobody made me pick up the drinking, but as many guys I'm sure have gone through it, it's a way of feeling something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where the bottle led me down a really bad path.
Wow, that's an amazing. It's amazing that you were able to see that once your daughter actually was able to have a real talk with you, and that's a lot of courage coming from a kid, right? To tell their dad, especially a teenager, to tell their dad, "Hey, I don't like the way you're acting, and you're going to lose me if you don't, change your life." And for her to be so courageous to speak up and say that, that's you're doing something right with the way you're raising your kids, though, too.
Yeah, I hope so. And um, now we're completely open. My kids talk to me about whatever they need to talk about, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. So I think a lot of good things came through the struggle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That is amazing, dude. So you sought therapy and you were so driven by that you just wanted to get that message out and to help others. And has it been successful with what you're doing?
It's fairly young. It's fairly young, but yeah, I'm getting a lot of good positive feedback. I get people reaching out to me through all the different platforms that I've signed up for: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. People that I don't even know. Hey, man, I'm going through this. You know what I mean? And that was really the goal. It was never. It was starting this was never about money or about pushing myself. It was to help people, and just being able to help 4 or 5 people, almost daily is for me success. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Success looks different for everybody, but for me, my goal is to help people, and that's happening. So, um, that's really what it's all about for me. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm not trying to, I'm trying to help brothers and sisters and anybody really that needs it. It started out as just a firefighter thing, but I've had people reach out to me that aren't even firemen that see me on whatever, and hey man, I'm not a fireman, but here's what I got going on. And
yeah. No,
I try to give them the best advice or knowledge that I could pass on, so that to me that's success.
absolutely, man. If you can help just one person, I say it all the time. If one person got something out of what I had to say or from my experience, that's a win. If one person can come to me and say, your story resonated with me, I knew I was struggling and I needed help and I had to go talk to somebody. That's important. And that's a win. And again, you get no money out of that. The payment is the success of somebody staying with us. And that means a lot.
Yeah, 100%. Somebody willing to step out of their comfort zone, come to somebody they don't even know and say, "Hey, I got an issue. I think you can help." Come on, man. That's just like making a grab. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
help somebody. You might have saved their life. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you can't put a price on that.
absolutely. And I think that it's commendable though to be able to step out of your comfort zone and to be able to tell your story to so many people that are complete strangers and then do it in a book next. That's gonna be. Do you know when that book's coming out, or are you still working on it?
I'm finishing it up, finishing touches kind of thing. So I'm looking like around the first of the year, probably
Okay.
January, February frame time of action, because I want it to be a good, like really good product, right? The book that I just put out was just training tips that I've learned over the years, and it was a quicker. Only took me about 6 months to put it all together. But this one about my story and um, the mental health portion, and it's going to be called Rising from the Ashes. Um, this is something I really want to make sure it's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I can get it in the hands of people that want to read it. You know what I mean?
I love it. Now, speaking of books, you just referenced your book that you currently have out. Now, you said you built that book compiled from a lot of things that you've learned over time. What makes that book so beneficial to us in the field?
I think for me, it's something that I always wish I had. Like not the it's the firefighter 1-2 book. It's a quick reference, small book that goes over everything that I wish I would have known or had a reference for when I was coming up. Things that I learned that are practical that we're going to do on the fire ground, right? Like that have practical application. And I just put it into words, man. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's nothing that you probably don't already know or anybody else does it, but it's something that people can read and really help keep their mindset right. You know what I mean? Help keep that passion and help keep that for them attitude that I wish I would have had. So I just decided to put it on paper and get it out there for guys that might want to have something to reference. Maybe they don't do a lot of training. Maybe they're new to the fire service and they're saying,
Yeah.
"Have what can I do in this situation?" And there's just little tidbits, right? With different subjects that they can go in and look at.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to read it. I really didn't know about it until I actually started talking with you. And so here it is on the screen now. This is the No BS Fire Training Guide, Tips for Them by Justin Champion. It's available on Amazon. You can get on Kindle for $9.99, paperback $20. And your title right here. This is the book every firefighter should read before stepping onto the fire ground. No fluff, no textbook jargon, just hard-earned, real-world knowledge from the front lines. Built for those who train hard, lead harder, and never forget who they serve. So that's pretty hardcore lines right there. So what are some things that you promote in this book? Like what can I get at? Like what are some topics?
Um, Subtopic there are topics everything from how to conduct yourself in the firehouse, like uh get out there and train. You owe it to the people you serve in your community, all the way to uh how we approach forcing a door or how we approach when we get on scene. Are we moving with a purpose? You know, do we practice out of our playbook? Do we really truly live by that we're here for them attitude, right? Is everything we're focusing on in training setting us up for success when we get on that fire ground? And that's really what the book revolves around. And it can you can get tidbits in there for everything from different hose loads and how to pull them, how to estimate your stretch, uh, how to make cuts on a roof, and really just fireman stuff. Just no no safety minded, like, oh, I'm not gonna go, you know what I mean? Tidbits on search VES. Get your ass in there and get people. You know what I mean? That's what you're here for. And that's what that book brings to the table. Um the reminders for guys that have been doing it for a long time and guys that might just came out of the academy that aren't thinking about yet. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I tried to take that look.
So all this information, where did you get it from to put it in this book?
Some of it came from me, and a lot of it came from getting out and going to conferences like Oath Keepers Fire Conference and um, all places around the country. I try, for me, even still today, I try to get out there and see the best practices and see what other guys are doing and learn something. And I I put it all in that book. Things that I've learned along the way that worked for me on the fire ground, I put it in that book because none of us should gatekeep any information. You're going to these conferences, you're going to all this great and wonderful training. You should put it, you should give it back, right? To maybe guys that couldn't get out to those kind of things, but are hungry.
Yeah.
So, I know I was that guy. I was real hungry, and shout out to Ian Schulte again. He put me onto a lot of this outside training, like Oath Keepers and FDICs and stuff like that. Right? He he really put me on to there's more to life than just what's inside your four walls of your firehouse. Get out there, learn some stuff, and bring it back. Because you want to talk about a guy that doesn't gatekeep and wants to help people. That's your man.
Yeah,
So I try to pick his brain as much, probably more than he would like. I try to pick his brain as much as I can, and that's where I got a lot of my uh, knowledge to get out there and learn and bring it back. So, um, yeah, that's kind of where the book came from. It just my experiences personally, things that I learned on the fire ground as a young fireman coming up, and things that I've learned from the outside and put into practice when I brought it back. So I just decided to put it on paper so maybe other guys can that don't have those opportunities. Because I mean, not every department, you know, that can send guys places, right? And
absolutely.
and you don't make enough money sometimes to be able to drop $300-400 on a ticket, and then plane tickets, travel, and all that, right? So I just figured I'd take some of the tidbits that I've learned and try to get it out to the fellas out there, and maybe help them help their help their people more.
I love it. So question with you doing a book like this is there's now so many that are coming out, and there's good books out there, but there's also books out there that are not so good, that kind of just, it's just imitating what they've learned, or they're literally just copying and pasting, right? And these things have to be vetted. And I referenced the book behind me, the Book of Search, right? That was built by, so many different people that are teaching around the globe, that we pay good money to see and to get those skills and that information from. And it is such an incredibly built book, and it breaks it down so well. We know that book works. We know that's a good book. Now, again, to try to really drive it home for you, how do you say, we'll take your book out of it. How do you vet these books? Like, how do you, as someone who's looking for information, especially as an instructor, how do you vet this information? You look at that book, you open up the pages. What is going to make you believe in that book?
The way I've always approached it, and I'm sure some of the stuff that's in my book you could probably find in Book of Search too, is I take what I learn and I apply it. Like, okay, here's what I learned, right? We drop a fire. I'm gonna try this, right? I've done it in reps. I've done it in training. It works in training. Let's see if it works in the real world, right? Let's
Sure.
see if it works, right? And I'm not saying these guys aren't vetted, that these guys aren't good dudes, that because they know what they're talking about. But does it work for me? Does it work for where we're at? And I think and the stuff that I've learned, usually 9 times out of 10, when I bring it back and I actually put it into play, it works.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that I put into my book, the things that I personally have done on a fire ground or on at the State Fire Academy, and I know that they're going to work, because I don't want to put out no BS. I don't want to put out some stuff just saying, hey, you should do it this way. You know what I mean? If you find it in my book, or if I'm teaching it to you, I vetted it before I've done it.
I
You know
love
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah, you're putting your hands on it, like, and that's what I was kind of getting at, is that you read the material and you can read all day long, but if you're actually not putting your hands on those skills that they're talking about and see if it works for you and see if it's applicable, and you just go say, yeah, it works, and just talk about it, then how do you know if it actually works for you? Because it could be good skills, but if each department's different. And those things might work. Those, the way you throw a ladder, a certain technique, like rolling the ladder. Like that was a good discussion I had on one of my posts before, right? Like, not everybody does it. I don't do it, but it was a skill I wanted to learn, so I practiced it. Now, am I going to teach people how to do it? Probably not, because it's not a skill that I use in the fire grounds when I'm on an active fire. But it's something I wanted to get repetitions on and be proficient in. But you applying those skills and put those hands and go, yep, this is going to work. Whether it's, again, rolling the ladder. Yep, I like it here in my department. We do this a lot. I'm going to teach that skill, and I'm going to make it, and I'm going to refine it, and I'm going to write it in my book. So it's really important that we put our hands on those topics that we learn from those conferences, and not just mimic and just have no feeling or emotion in it either, right? Like, you can learn from something, that you went a week and learned something, and you bring it back, but you didn't really absorb it, and you just kind of like blindly or without any emotion apply it to your students. They're not really going to get that. So you really have to believe in that skill that you're learning.
Yeah, and I think the only way you get that is like you said, by applying it, right? Getting out there, because you might have learned that skill at one of these conferences. You get back and yeah, it works, but you had to tweak it a little bit. for you, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's what a lot of these conferences want you to do, you know? So like, for an example, I'll give you an example. One for me was I went to Oath Keepers and learned how to throw a 35-foot ladder by myself. I'd never done that before. I was like, because on our SOPs and stuff, that's at least two guys, right?
Yeah.
At least, right? But they taught us to where, I mean, I could take that 35-footer off the back of that truck and get that bad boy up by myself, which changes the game for a small department that might only have two guys responding, right? And once I learned how to do that, man, I brought it back and showed the guy, man, I'll tell you what, like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that's a game
Yeah.
changer because a lot of people don't think they can do it. I mean, I didn't think I could do it. I'm in pretty good shape and all that stuff, but I didn't think I could do it. I was like, there's no way. And the way they showed us, anybody can do it. I don't care if you're 120 pounds, you can do it. You know what I mean? And it's just having people that believe in you and that have your back and say, hey man, look, you can do it, right?
Yeah.
And that changes the game. And you come back and you show people too. Like we don't do that at the fire academy, but I show guys that and they're like, oh man, let me
Yeah.
try. You know what I mean?
Do you find that the buy-in at times is difficult when you learn something new outside of your area code and bring it back and you go, hey guys, I want to show you something? Is the buy-in there, or is it pretty is it difficult to get them to understand like, hey, this is something new and we should look into it?
You know, in my experience, there has been pushback like that. There has been guys that have been doing it for a long time that are um not always open up, like not always open to new things that are out there. And but once they get their hands on it, in my experience, once they get their hands on it, you really show them and they get to do it themselves. That's when that light bulb comes on, like, okay, maybe this guy does know or learned a little something that's gonna help us out. Um, but I've also experienced the guys that don't want nothing to do with it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And that's okay. I mean, and I'll tell them, hey, if you don't want to be better for the people that you serve, that's on you. But for all of you that want to come along and learn this and it's going to save somebody's life one day, let's do it.
yeah,
You know, you can't change everybody's mind, but the majority want that. You know, so there's always a little bit of pushback. I mean, anytime there's some kind of change or something different that you're not comfortable with,
sure.
there's definitely some pushback. But in my experience, that once guys get their hands on it and really get to throwing stuff around, they enjoy it.
I think when you go in and you're not like demanding it has to be done or demanding that you have to learn this, and I think that helps a lot too. It's you want it to be organic, and I think that helps a lot when you're not like forcing this gospel onto them, but you're actually saying this is going to be fun. And you, like you said, like there's gonna be guys who aren't going to want to learn it, but we're all curious animals. So you're in the bay, you know, you're learning that new way that you just got taught, and that guy over there is going to be sitting over there stewing because he doesn't believe in it, and you think it's all bullshit. And you've got like 5 people hanging out with you, trying all these different ways, and honestly, us trying to break that new way to see if it's going to be good or not. But it's fun. And then eventually they come sliding on over. They smell it. They smell the fun, right? And they just go, all right. Well, then they'll start giving you like, first it's like bad stuff. No, that's not going to work. That's going to be bad. Here, let me show you this, or here, let me show you that. But you know what? They got involved, even though at first they didn't believe in it. But they now came sniffing over, and because they couldn't hold it in anymore. I got to tell you how it's not going to work. And then yet they're still participating. They're being a part of the group without having to force them and ridicule them and make them feel like shit because they didn't want to do it. Eventually they're going to come on over. You just got to give them time, because again, we're very curious animals, and eventually they're going to come over and want to see what we got going on.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I've had that happen where a guy was working overtime with us and he didn't necessarily, like you said, he at first 20, 30 minutes he's over there, you know, nose up in the air, then slowly getting closer. Now he's up in it, right?
Yeah.
And then he did, you know, he picked it apart. But then I come in on a day off and he's teaching his crew. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm like, I thought you didn't like this, man. I thought you were totally against it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's funny how that works sometimes, you know, and you just got to, like you said, you got to let it be organic. You don't say, hey, get your ass over here. You know what I mean? Let it be
Yeah.
organic. Cause like you said, we are curious. If I see somebody doing something, I'm going to want to be part of it too. You know what I mean? Put my 2 cents in. And I think there's something to be said for that. Cause you can tell them, hey, get your ass over here. But what's that going to do? You know, now
Exactly.
that, yeah, now that wall's up, right? let them get curious, because they will, like you said, they will every single time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like when I get to do training, and if I'm teaching another department, and I'm very observant, so I can see certain people that are really on the fence of what I'm teaching them, and I give them all the respect in the world because they've been doing it for 20 years. You get those 20-year vets that are like staring at me. I can feel the eyes on me, and I know they're not picking up what I'm putting down. But eventually, as we're progressing, they go, oh yeah, this is making sense to me. All right, I'm getting it. And then again, they start giving their 2 cents, and boom, we're all in. Now we're all in. And usually at the end of the day, they're like, man, I really appreciate you taking the time. You're wicked respectful, not demanding, not belittling. And that comes a lot like as instructors. Again, I love being an instructor. I could tell that you do as well. And it's a very fine craft for us to be teachers, to be instructors, because it's not just learning the material and knowing it, but you got to be able to read people as well. Because if you got a student that doesn't want to do it because he maybe was forced to have to take this class and be there, first off, they don't know who you are, and they're not going to believe in you, and they're not going to buy into what you say, because right away they think you're full of shit because they don't know you and they don't know your skill level yet. So you got to first just go in, treat people with respect, show them what you're about, and let them know, like, hey man, this is just a way, something like you said before, I learned it, I applied it, and I want to show it to you all and see what you guys think of it, and maybe you guys can use that another tool for the toolbox. So it's a fine skill, I think, to honestly be an instructor and to be able to how to read people and treat them with respect.
Yeah, and I wasn't always like that. When I came in to the fire service, I had a lot of military mentality still, and I was an instructor in the military too, and it was more like that. Like, get over here, you're gonna listen, you're gonna do it this way, boom, 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 right? And that doesn't work with in this side of the ball, right? And it took me a while. It took me quite a while to learn that, you know. But once I did, yeah, you're right. Being an instructor is an amazing opportunity. You get to leave a legacy and mold the fire service for the future. So once I learned that and kind of changed my approach to things became more organic, you know.
Yeah.
Um, not and just it's not my way, it's a way, like you said. I might have gone to Oath Keepers and learned it this way, or I brought it back, and like you said, these guys are picking and we mold it to us. You know what I mean? And I think that's really what it's all about.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I love about these conferences, is because as an instructor and a student, we're both at these conferences. And the biggest thing that I get some really good skills, like Bearers of the Oath, Dadgum Fire Conference, County Fire Tactics, like amazing classes, amazing education. But the biggest thing that I notice is that the instructors are so respectful of the students. And that's what I bring back is that, okay, I love the way, like, perfect example, I'm going to throw out props to Kevin Pfluger, who runs the Dadgum Fire Conference. Amazing human. But every time I've noticed what he does at every training is before we get started, he introduces himself to every student in his class. He goes up and shakes their hands and introduces himself to everybody in that class. And that's my biggest takeaway. I learned a lot of skills from him, but I also learned how to treat people in these classes because these students are paying good money to listen to you, but they also want to be respected. And the fact that he is taking that time to be respectful and shake their hands and introduce himself to them. And then he usually does like a Q&A afterwards. Any questions, anything you learned? And that's not just him either. Like I've seen it from so many instructors who are just so humble and so down to earth. And I take that back with me as well and help me to be a better instructor. I get the skill set, but I also get the knowledge of how to be a better instructor without having to take a boring class, sitting down at a desk and reading the IFSTA manual of how to be an instructor.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. And I'll give kudos to a guy that probably doesn't even remember talking to me, but Kyle Romagus. Um,
He's man. I love him.
Man, I tell you, and you want to talk about humble, like when I went to Oath Keepers and learned engine company ops from him, man, like, and he just stood there for forever talking to us like we were just in the same department, man. And like I'm looking at him like you're sitting here talking to me, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and and that's kind of where things started changing for me was being around guys like that, that just love being instructors and you can tell they respect you, and that makes me respect them even more. And that's kind of how I molded myself in the future. I got away from that "you will, you shall" to being more approachable and being more, in touch with the guys and respecting them the same way they respect me. And that is just guys like that, man, that you want to emulate. You know what I mean?
You know, you're going to have a really good instructor. You know, you're going to have a really good teacher when they're wearing the same gear you're wearing, because you know they're going to get dirty. You know they're going to be putting in work with us. So when I go to a class and I already see that instructor geared up, ready to rock, it's going to be a good class. If he's wearing, pants and loafers, well, he's not going to do anything. He's just going to point his finger at me and say, "Hey, you're going to do this and you're going to do that." And honestly, for me, man, I hate that very much. I don't like it when people are not in gear and they're just pointing their fingers saying, go throw that ladder and go do this and go do that. You didn't teach me anything. You just pointed your finger and told me to go do something, not how to do it. You just told me to go do it. So it's a huge buy-in for all of us when we have instructors that are dialed in. And like you said, meeting someone like Kyle Romagus, Kevin Pfluger, Raymond Doraville, Tom Hollick, all these amazing people, Nate Sturm, like these guys are, to me, amazing people. But they get down to our level and they say, like, we're just same as you. We just got some knowledge and we're paying it forward. And you're doing the same thing with your classes, with your book, and the information you're bringing, especially for mental health, because that's just another level of education you're bringing as an instructor, because you already have buy-in to a lot of your students. And the fact now you're bringing it another level up and saying, hey, besides the fireground stuff of how to do the job when you get off the rig and throw a ladder, let me show you the other side of it, of the mental health aspect that you need to learn how to deal with as well. And that not a lot of people can do, right? We can take these classes about mental health, but honestly, if you've never lived that rough life, you've never gone through it yourself, it's hard for us to sit in those classes and listen to somebody drone on about their own, about nothing, because they've never had that personal experience. So when you have someone like yourself and someone like me that's lived that life, and there could be somebody in that, like you said before, there's somebody in that audience, it might just be that one person, but they know exactly what we're talking about. And that is a huge benefit to everybody.
Yeah, that's the goal. Like I tell people in my lecture, man, like you call a Mayday on the fire ground, everybody's coming for you. Everybody that hears that is coming, right?
Yeah.
And it's no different than you call a Mayday for mental health. Your mental Mayday, I guess you can call it, right? Because that's a bad place to be trapped, is in your own head, right? And
Yeah.
we gotta treat it like that. My brother's going through something, my sister's going through something, so am I.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be there for you. Like, if you call that mental Mayday at 2 a.m., I'm gonna pick up my phone. Or if I'm on vacation with my family, or if I'm out somewhere eating dinner and you call me and I say I need you now, my wife and them are just gonna have to understand. Like, we're firefighters 24 hours a day, 365. And if my brother calls me, I'm going.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I want things to go. Where I that's what I'm trying to do is and from chief level down, make it okay. Because let's be honest. You got a lot of departments have peer support groups and all that stuff, but does a guy really feel comfortable going in and talking to another guy that's from his
No.
department? That they don't want that out there, right? So take them under your wing. Hey, let's go talk. You know what I mean? And I think that's just as important as learning a skill on the fire ground, or learning how to respond to a Mayday on the fire ground, is learning how to help your brother when he really needs it.
100%. Because the moment that he or she calls you, that's a big step, because that took a lot for them to get to that level.
Huge.
Right? To be able to call you and say, hey, I need help with something. And you don't want to miss that phone call. So that's a huge step. And like you said, like we're on duty for that, like 24/7. If a brother or sister calls you, say, hey, I need to talk to you because I'm having some struggles. Yeah, I'm going to put some shit on hold and I'm going to talk to them, because that's a huge step for them to do that.
Yeah, because at 2 a.m, they're not calling you to bullshit with you about the football game. You know what
No,
I mean?
man.
They're not. They're calling you because they need you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at your phone, you put that bad boy down, you're not a brother, man. You're a coworker. You know what I mean? And there's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? So you got to pick up that phone. If you pick it up and you see Joe Schmo from your crew, you better answer the phone. You know what I mean? I don't care what you're doing.
I love it, dude. So you have some cadres of instructors for the from the Ashes LLC. Are they all New Mexico based, or are they from different areas?
No, they're from different areas. Guys I worked with over my career. there's really only two of us in New Mexico, me and Alec Davis. You've talked to him. Shout out Alec. Real good dude. Oh well, and the third one, his name's Daniel Pacheco from Socorro Fire. Another real good dude. If you ever get a chance to talk to him, I would definitely real energetic guy. You'd like him.
I hope so.
Yeah, you would definitely. If you ever get a chance to reach out and talk to him, he's a good dude. He's real passionate.
Love it.
And then a couple guys up from up north that I worked with in North Dakota. Um, real good dudes, officers that really bring that no BS kind of thing. Um, even Peyton Owens, I know you know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
He reached out to me. We've had some really good conversations. He said if I ever need him down where he's at, let him know. So I got a lot of guys that are on board and on board with the mission. A lot of like-minded guys. So we're kind of spread out, and I did that on purpose so we could offer it to anybody that needs it. You know what I mean?
I love it. Now, I noticed on your Instagram that you've also have, I don't know if you're affiliate or if you're working for them or they're working for you, Carry the Flag. What is that about?
I actually just kind of support them. You know what I mean? Like Chris is a great guy, got a great mission, Carry the Flag. We ended up talking over Instagram because of my mission and his mission are very similar. Both real big mental health advocates for the fire service and big on training and physical fitness and all that stuff. So we just kind of started talking, and I just started supporting him. He supports me. Um, and we're gonna be collabing on some t-shirts and some gear and stuff just to try to get the word out there and spread the message so we work well together. You know what I mean? He doesn't work for me, I don't work for him, but we support each other, and I think that's important. We've actually had that conversation. Other firefighters with the same mission in mind, like we got to help each other, right? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we got the same mission. We're trying to help our guys. So that's kind of where that collaboration came from. And I talk to him at least probably once a day, once every other day, um, just to try to get the message out there. And I try to push his stuff as much as I can. He does the same for me. So I appreciate Chris. Shout out to Chris, and he's doing good and great things. And he's taught me a lot about how to manage like the social media platforms because I'm old, man. I don't know about a lot about that stuff. You know what I mean? So I pick his brain all the time.
That's great, man. I love it. Guys working together for the same mission. That's what's important. Do you have anywhere that you're going to be, any conferences you're going to be teaching at or any classes coming up?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna be having I'm gonna be doing my mental health lecture at Cup of Cozy here in Albuquerque in September. We haven't nailed down a specific date yet, but that everybody in the area, whatever, I'll be putting it out on all social media platforms. We nail down that date, and then I'll be presenting that mental health at the Fire and EMS Expo here in New Mexico in October.
Nice.
So yeah, I've got some good stuff coming up, and I'm reaching out to people and trying to do more stuff. So yeah, I'm trying to get this off the ground. I'm looking at things like maybe doing like 5Ks, stuff like that to raise some money.
That's
Um,
fantastic.
the one that
Yeah.
I'm doing a cup of cozy with and working with them, and we're gonna raise some money and give it to Next Rung. So we're gonna all proceeds from the day that we do that are gonna go to Next Rung. Yep, there you go. Yeah, we're gonna try to help Blake out. You know what I mean? He's got a huge platform. Yeah, man. I got the same thing in my kitchen.
Yeah,
So
I promote it religiously on my platform. Since we're on the subject of Next Rung, Blake Stennett and Charlie Brown, I usually do it to the end of my program. Since we're talking about it now, like this is what I love to talk about. Next Rung, those guys are doing fantastic. I met them in Georgia. What fantastic people! What a fantastic family, helping others to do what you were just talking about and promoting mental health and helping people to get the help that they need, loving God, loving Jesus, and just amazing, beautiful people. And they just care about others and they just want to make sure that people get the help that they need.
yeah, and I'll tell you the reason why I picked Next Rung is because speaking of my journey, is I reached out to Next Rung when I was on my last rung. You know what I mean? And Blake himself picked up and
Wow.
helped me and pointed me in the right direction. Because you asked me about my journey and how I got better. Next Rung was huge in that. Huge. Like I was done, man. Like I was gonna check out. You know what I mean? And Next Rung um picked me up and said, "Hey, man, we got you." And so I'm forever grateful for that. And anytime I can do anything to help them, I'm going to do it. So,
To really bite on that real quick. So for the audience, what did you have to do? Because I've never used their services, and now I got somebody in front of me who's used the services. So when you needed help, did you know that Next Rung already existed?
I did not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was just searching for any help I could get because I was on my last leg, man, and it popped up and it said you could text or call the number. I texted, and then Blake answered and text back and forth with me for I don't even know how long. I'd say months probably. You know what I mean? Following up with me, making sure I was doing okay, and pointing me in the right direction and where I needed to go. So yeah, I didn't really know who they were at the time, but I'll tell you what, man, there's nobody better out there. And they saved me, and I will do anything in my power. I mean, I'm nobody, but I'll do anything in my power to help them at any point in time. You know what I mean? So yeah, the Next Rung means a lot to me. Blake's a good dude. I talked to him. Hopefully him and I are going to sit down and have a conversation pretty soon. So
That's great.
yeah, great,
Uh,
great dude.
and to circle back on that, when you say he helped you, how did he get you the services that you needed? Did he do the legwork of finding people in your area?
He did. He did all the legwork. I had people calling me. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to pick up a phone. Um, Blake Blake put in his own time, work, effort, and really gave a shit. You know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't just a one time thing. Here, I got you some help. He would he would text and check on me, and just making sure I was doing good and moving in the right direction. So shout out to Blake for being a real dude, man. Like, he backs his stuff up for sure.
I love it, man. That's fantastic. I'm so happy that we actually connected, you and I, because those are the stories I love to hear. Again, I promote them heavy on my platform, but I never actually got to talk to somebody who's actually used their services. So it's really important that people understand that it does work, so that that what we're saying is true. And and Justin saying like it works. You just got to make the first step and make that phone call or make that text. And that's why Next Rung, again, I'll put that card up there for people who need that number. That number is available for you guys 24/7. So make sure that you are listening and make sure you are watching. If you are listening, 833 NXT RUNG. That's 833-698-7864. Or you can text support to speak with a peer support provider, or text info to learn info about the organization. So it's really super important that guys and girls are using that service. It's available. It's there. It works. Justin's right here telling you how fantastic they were. They do the legwork to get you the help that you need. You just have to make that first step and make the phone call or make a text.
Yeah, and then not only do they do the legwork, I still talk to Blake today. You know what I mean? And yeah, he cares, man. That whole organization, they're not just preaching it, they're doing it, they're
Yeah,
living it. So shout out to Next Rung, shout out to Blake. Those guys are it. If you're having trouble, I would say call them like right now. You know what I mean?
I love it, dude. And also the fact that you do have the cup of cozy coming up, and you're doing your mental health. Since you are right down the street from where my sister lives, if you need services or if you'd like to have them promote the mental health side of what you're doing, and you can utilize them as well. My sister, Stacy Goldstein, runs GD Psych Services. They have
Okay.
multiple offices. They have Santa Fe. They have multiple in Rio Rancho. There's a slew of them. She's got like 10 offices to help us. So she caters to pretty much everyone, but they specialize in first responders and military. And
Awesome.
GD Psych Services out of Rio Rancho, they're just like Next Rung. If you need help, they will help you right away. You can call them. They don't care about the insurance part. They just want to get you help. My sister is former military in the Army as well. She's a retired captain. And so that's why she started her services many years ago. I think it's been now maybe 10 years, maybe 5 or 10 years she's been doing this. And she really cares about the health of military and first responders. So I would encourage you to reach out to her to help promote what you're doing. And maybe they can come over to Cup of Cozy and you guys could talk and get something started, so we have more services available for all of us.
Well, I definitely will. I didn't even know they were there. I'm definitely going to reach out and tell her about what I'm doing, and maybe she can show up and we can get her information out there too, because I know guys can use it. So
Absolutely.
the more people I can collab with and get that out there for guys to get help, I'm all in, bro.
Absolutely, my friend. Yeah. Again, for people listening, if you are listening in the New Mexico area, GD Psych Services. Unfortunately, I don't have the number right in front of me, but GD Psych Services, Instagram, Facebook. You can literally Google them. They're all over the place. They've been around for a long time now, and they're doing great work for a lot of people. And they're based in New Mexico. That's where they started. We actually just opened up an office in New Hampshire because of what I've been dealing with and my former history. I told the same thing to my sister. I need someone to talk to. And I was in the same boat. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. And at that time, I didn't really know about Next Rung. So I was in a really tough place. And I informed my sister, like, hey, there's not a lot of people that we can talk to in New Hampshire. And if we need to talk to somebody, it's usually you have to book out about a month. Right. And usually that's when we don't want to wait. If we're making the call, we don't want to wait. So we opened up an office in New Hampshire. I think opening day actually is going to be August 22nd for our grand opening in New Hampshire, right in Nashua. So if anybody in the New Hampshire area is needing help, GD Psych Services is available in Nashua, New Hampshire, right on Main Street. Again, for first responders, for military, for families who are needing help. Because again, it's not just us either that are struggling. Our families are struggling, because if we're in a tough place, our family's going to be in a very tough place. And the fact that you, again, Justin, you had your daughter say, dude, dad, like, if you don't get your shit together, I'm out. And that's really important for families to have those tough talks. Like, that's tough for family to do. Like, hey, you're not yourself anymore. You're really distant, and we need you to be here. We want you here. But if you're not going to be here, then we need to go somewhere else. And that's an important thing to do. And I applaud you. Again, I applaud your daughter very much. That's a brave thing for her to do, man. So my kudos to you raising your kids right.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, she's a tough kid. Getting ready to join the Air Force herself. So
that's amazing.
She's a tough kid.
And you have a son. I think I saw a picture of somebody, a young gentleman dressed up in gear.
Yeah, he's my 11-year-old. He's my youngest son. I actually have I have two other sons, and then I have with my wife now. She had two sons when we got together, but he's the youngest of the bunch. He's 11 years old. He's all about fire. He already knows he wants to be a fireman, so he comes out to visit me, and he goes to work with me, and wants to be a part of everything.
Love it. Fantastic. Justin Champion from the Ashes LLC. Brother, I really, really appreciate you. This was a fantastic talk. I'm glad we got together for the mission of helping others. That's what it's all about. You know, this is not about, right? This is not about being famous or getting famous or money. This literally is just two dudes talking about mental health service and what we can do better for the fire service and for training as well, and making sure we have the material to make ourselves better on the fire ground, but also at home. So thank you so much, Justin, from the Ashes LLC. He has his book out. You can find it on Amazon. The book is The No BS Fire Training Guide. Tips for them, Justin Champion. So make sure you are checking that out. Justin, thank you so much. Everybody else, you all be safe. You take care. Mazel tov.